History of the 1st Virginia Cavalry Regiment. On March 2, 1833, acting on a measure presented by Richard Johnson, Congress created the United States Regiment of Dragoons. With the creation of this unit, the U.S. Cavalry was born. The size of the United States Regiment of Dragoons was fixed by Congress at 34 officers and 1,715 men. For the Mexican War, it was clear that the Army needed more mounted troops in order to cross the vast desert. There was some expansion in the regulars, but many of the units were volunteers that were dissolved at the end of the war. In 1850, the federal government stood down most of their cavalry troops. Only 2 dragoon regiments and 1 regiment of mounted rifles, created in 1846, survived the government post-war reductions. But 5 years later, on March 3, 1855, Congress authorized the raising of 2 regiments of horse. These were needed to handle the expanding western frontier, especially as settlers pushed more and more against the Indians. The 1st and 2nd United States Cavalry were the first regular American military organizations to bear the title of Cavalry. It was rumored among the dragoons and mounted riflemen that Secretary of War Jefferson Davis purposely received this special designation in order to enable him to appoint many of his Southern friends while disregarding seniority among the older mounted units. Whether this rumor was true or not, the disproportionate number of Southern officers in the new units would severely impede the development of the Union cavalry in the Civil War 6 years later. At the onset of the Civil War in 1861, there were 5 regiments of U.S. cavalry. Shortly after the 3rd Cavalry was organized in 1861, all the regiments were renumbered from 1 to 6, and the 12-troop structure was created. Out of the 176 officers of the 5 original regiments, 104 cast their lot with their native Southern states when the Civil War broke. As a result of this, the Union cavalry would have both brand new troopers and inexperienced officers. In contrast, the Confederate cavalry had more experienced leadership, which contributed to several years of battlefield superiority. The 1st Virginia Cavalry Regiment completed its organization at Winchester, Virginia, in July 1861, under the command of JEB Stuart, who was at the command of Thomas Stonewall Jackson. Unlike most regiments, the 1st contained 12 companies. In April 1862, it totaled 437 men, lost 8% of the 310 engaged at Gettysburg, and had 318 fit for duty in September 1864. The cavalry cut through the federal lines during the surrender at Appomattox Courthouse and later disbanded. Only 1 man from this unit was present at the surrender. But this is War of Rights, and we don't need no fucking horses. Let's go.